All right, welcome everybody. It is week, I don't even know what it is. We've been doing this for a while now. We're starting to hit our week 7, she
We
said.
said last week it was week 5. We were
Right.
very wrong. This week is
We
week
were,
7. So
we were totally incorrect. So we're now almost been doing this for 2 months. A couple episodes.
heck.
Right. It's been flying by. So anyway, I got Jericho in the picture here just for y'all who love my cat, and he's going to get out of the picture really quick. All right. Mission accomplished, goal complete. Beth is wearing a nice Moxley shirt today.
I love it.
John Moxley.
It's amazing.
And thank you. All right, that is a very good pick, whoever got that one for you. Great taste. And I have a V-Trigger shirt on. Can I talk about this shirt real quick, 30 seconds? Funny thing, how crazy our world has been the past couple of years. I wore this shirt to Royal Rumble, and I looked it up when that Royal Rumble was because it seems like 10 years ago. That was 2 years ago. 2019, I wore this to the Royal Rumble here in my town.
2020 was the longest decade of our lives.
Yes, it was. And that just goes to show how much AEW has done in such a short period of time. Because I wore this shirt 2 years, 2 months ago, 26 months ago, when no one knew what Kenny Omega was going to do. And there was speculated that he was going to be at the Rumble. That's why I wore it. So, yeah.
How wrong you were.
Right. I mean, I didn't really expect it. I just wanted to be that guy wearing a New Japan guy to a WWE show, whatever. I thought I was cool. I'm not. But that just goes to show, like I said, less than 18 months, AEW Dynamite has been on the air. And look what they have done. And we're going to talk about a lot that they have done, starting with the Dynamite review. Do you have anything to say before we get started on the Dynamite review?
Well, bearing in mind we have no other reason to bring it up, can I just say I'm really looking forward to this main event at Revolution. And it's a main event that neither of the people in the main event actually showed up in the Go Home show to the pay-per-view. It was odd. Don't get me wrong. It was a decent episode of Dynamite. Didn't feel like a Go Home show. Yeah. Despite the fact it has done the job of a go-home show and it's got everyone going absolutely mental. Just didn't feel right. It was
Beth has more thoughts on that, and she will cover that when we talk. After we're done with our review, we do our show grades. You can definitely grade the show because I know it's not going to be the best grade you've given them. But anyway, I'm ready to get started. As you can see, based on our shirts, you could probably guess who we picked to win. And that can be found, though, on our AEW Revolution prediction show just uploaded on Friday.
And I will put a link in the bio below, down there.
Correct.
Somewhere.
So some people only want to listen to predictions. Well, that will be your chance. All right, moving on to Dynamite. It was Crossroads. It was a special show before a pay-per-view. We were all interested in how it was going to go. It started out, though, with one that Beth was not looking forward to at all. Very against this match. So I really want to know her thoughts on this match first. It was Shaq and Jade versus Red Velvet and Cody.
I didn't hate it, which in turn makes me hate it a little.
What? I did not expect you to say that. I thought you were going to say, I was wrong, Reyno. I thought it was going to be
I was wrong, and that's why I hate it. This wasn't a fantastic match, but it was a heck of a lot better than I gave it credit for. Do I think it was the debut that Jade deserves? She could have debuted under better circumstances and got a better reaction. I think the amount of hype that's been built over her she is very good. For a debut match, it was brilliant. But there was so much hype around her, and I don't think she could have ever lived up to the amount of hype that was built around her. But she did really well. Her and Red Velvet completely tore it up. Shaq wasn't terrible. It was an enjoyable match, and I hate it just a little bit because I do have to say I was wrong.
She was really wrong. So she said...
I wouldn't go as far as saying really wrong, but I was wrong.
Anyway, so you said it wasn't a fantastic match. I disagree because to me, I mean, we've been disagreeing from this one on the start. This is no surprise to you, but I disagree because to me, a fantastic match. Like I said, she's more the match expert. She always talks first about the matches because she's the one who's not distracted. Reyno is. Unless I have a reason to not be distracted, like this match, I wanted to see every single second of it. I was, you know, I was standing up watching this match. I was hyped every time Shaq did something that did not look terrible, which was most of it. He took that bump, and I was like, yeah, I clapped him, by myself. But, I thought it was very entertaining. I will go so far as to already say that this was the most entertaining match for me of the night. But like I just told you, I was probably distracted the rest of the night.
It was enjoyable. It
was very enjoyable.
When you're trying to compare it to the rest of the level of wrestling we got in the rest of the show, whether you enjoyed the rest of the show or not, from a wrestling perspective, it wasn't a fantastic match. Jade and Red Velvet did extremely well. It was an exhibition match and it did what it meant to do. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Yeah, and I didn't see any negative, which I was surprised. I didn't even see any tweets from stans of different companies. No. I didn't see any negative tweets from them. So, I mean, the one thing I'll say about that's not related to Shaq is Jade and Red Velvet both looked great. And I'm talking in the ring, match-wise, and I'm looking just like appearance-wise. They looked great. But Jade definitely did look a little green at times. So she's the big name. She's the big buff lady in that match. And she's, the one that's supposed to be dominating Red Velvet. Red Velvet looked like the far more seasoned wrestler, and you could tell it. I did notice that. So, again, it'll come with time. It was a good debut, but she couldn't have lived up to the hype they'd built around her unless she came out at kind of Red Velvet's level. It was never, and that was very unlikely to happen because she is so new to this. But she did do very well. And as I said, it was an enjoyable match.
So I'm interested to see where they go from her, since this match was all for her. Out of the 4 people in that match, it was for her. Yeah. A lot of people wanted it to be for Red Velvet. She did put on a great show. She's 5-0. Did they win the match? Yes.
Yes. Jade got the pin on Red Velvet. Tony Khan has said in the pre-Crossroads or post-Crossroads, I can't remember when it happened, media call to check back after Revolution to see whether Red Velvet's been signed or not.
Really?
So we might be getting a Red Velvet is All Elite graphic after Revolution.
I would almost say that's a guarantee. I don't see TK as the guy to say, "Oh, just tune in and see," and then just say, "Yep, sorry, no."
No, it wasn't TK. It was Cody. Sorry.
Oh, okay, got it.
That's my bad, Cody. Okay. And while we're on the subject of signings, it was announced today. It's Friday today. That AEW have signed the captain, Sean Dean. Sean Dean is all elite, and it was announced today.
No way.
Yes.
No way. This is news to Reyno. I am a huge
It was announced about an hour ago.
So now I hope we get to see him on Dynamite. Man, I'm pumped for that. That's great. That's the first time I've heard it.
I'm very excited because I absolutely love everything Sean Dean's been doing recently. He's been absolutely tearing it up on Dark for months. So yes, I'm very excited. This is very well deserved for Sean Dean.
I've got to see the graphic because as an AEW fan, we all just crave seeing that graphic.
Tony Khan posted it about an hour ago, and we are currently filming this at 8:30 on Friday evening, UK time.
For back to the show. All right, so that's exciting news about Sean Dean. I'm very much looking forward to that. He's actually one of my favorites. If I had to pick a favorite Dark talent, even though I don't watch much Dark, that would probably be it. I was hoping that he would get a shot. Last thing I'll say about the match itself, before what happened after the match. Last thing I'll say about that is the table bump was fantastic.
I'm glad they made it look convincing.
Yes.
And I have to say, Shaq sold it like a dream.
Yep. Until he did the little tap on the back to Cody. I was like, oh no. But
I missed that. I did miss that. But no, he did as well as can be expected and a heck of a lot better than I ever expected. So I was happily surprised by the match as a whole. And then he gets taken off in an ambulance, or we see him get taken to an ambulance afterwards to go to ad break. When we come back from ad break, you got Tony Schiavone trying to figure out what's going on. Shaq has been loaded into the back of the ambulance, throws the door open, and Shaq has disappeared.
Poof, he's gone. So I mean,
Shaq is now the Undertaker, people.
Yeah.
No, so I assume it was a way to convincingly have him on TV again the following evening. But yeah, Shaq just upped and disappeared after Tony watched them load him into the ambulance. So hell knows what happened there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was just like Beth said, it was just a way to get him on TV the next night, because he was on TV the next night here in the States for basketball, and as if he hadn't went through a damn table. So moving on. After that, we had another match that a lot of people were excited for who they were going to go up against, because it was announced that Ray Phoenix, and Pac. Oh, look, I still have the Ray Phoenix action figure right here. Ray Phoenix and Pac. I also have his action figure. But who were the two opponents going to be? There's a lot of
John Skylar and someone else. I feel really bad. I cannot remember for the life of me who that second person in the match was. But it didn't really matter, because John Skylar got dominated for the entire match. They were well and truly squashed by Pac and Phoenix, who looked absolutely bloody fantastic.
As always.
I love those two together. Death Triangle. There has been talk of possibly a trios tournament in the future, and Death Triangle Pac with Lucha Brothers. I absolutely love it. Give me more.
Yes.
It's such a good pairing, and I absolutely love Pac. So it's good having him back.
Yeah. Just think of all the trios teams that they would have. You got Team Taz. You got
Hangman and the recruitment specialists.
Hangman and them. You've got Ray Phoenix, Pac, and Penta. And then you've got Jurassic Express. You've got the Four Horsemen that can be FTR and the guy that starts with an S.
We will talk about that later.
We won't talk about that.
We will, because we kind of have to.
Beth will talk about that. So, yeah. Quick match. After the match, they went to commercial, I believe, again. And it was the Inner Circle after the break.
The Inner Circle press conference.
Yep. They seem to love getting in front of a podium and talking.
I mean, it's Chris Jericho and MJF. What do you expect?
Right. I would much rather Chris Jericho just do all the talking and MJF just keeps his mouth shut. But they were answering questions. One was Conrad. A lot of you who are on Twitter know who Conrad is, or at least have seen him. And then there was Eric Bischoff asking questions. Beth, how'd the segment go?
So Conrad asked something about Sammy, which sent the Inner Circle on a huge rant about Sammy being the worst friend ever, blah blah blah. But it all kind of circled around this question by Eric Bischoff, asking basically why the hell they beat Papa Buck off and have done nothing but motivate the Bucks to absolutely kick their ass.
Yeah.
When was it was like have you ever made a decision as stupid as pissing the Young Bucks off right before a match, or something along those lines? And it was quite funny. I popped a little bit, but it went into this. Hold
on. Before that, I was going to say that not only did you pop, but a lot of people pop for Eric Bischoff. It's cool to see him on the show every time. I'm a big fan of him, and I think that's a very well-respected person in the wrestling world from all his fans.
And it's a good way to use him as well. Have him pop up every now and then, get the pop, and then have him disappear into obscurity again for the next 3 months until the next pay-per-view. But that then beautifully segued into possibly what is the best Young Bucks promo we've had, if not since winning the titles, then in AEW full stop. I've heard a lot of people saying that that AEW have somehow made this whole storyline a bit lame. But do you know what? This Young Bucks promo was bloody fantastic. And I had chills. I was still painting at this point. It was like 1:00 in the morning for me, and I was covered head to toe in gloss paint. And I actually put down my paintbrush for the first time all day and just sat and watched, because my God, it was absolutely brilliant. And it went into what people would be doing, or AEW wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for Papa Buck. So what would people be doing if Papa Buck wasn't there? AEW
Correct.
wouldn't be there. So MJF would probably still be waiting for a call back from the Rosie O'Donnell show, which made me laugh. But it was what was said to Chris Jericho, saying, if it wasn't for AEW, what would you be doing right now, Chris? Probably twitching the curtain at the Performance Center.
Yep.
And I you know, I love it. People are going to complain that they're just ripping the shit out of AEW, but after Tony pretty much declaring war on them on Tuesday night, I think we're past the point of caring now. NXT are moving to Tuesdays. So I think with NXT being the ones to give up and move, you can officially say AEW won the Wednesday Night Wars. So can we? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you know what? I said it. I have seen no one else say it yet, but NXT are moving. AEW won.
We just lost like a couple of viewers. There are people that I would not say it, because people are going to be so mad at you.
Do you know what? I don't even care. I honestly don't give a shit about the Wednesday Night Wars. When I do watch NXT, I enjoy it. I will watch AEW live over NXT, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy NXT. It's just not my go-to TV. I'm glad NXT's moving, because then I've got a chance of enjoying both. I don't give a shit about the ratings war. AEW have well and truly kicked NXT's ass, though.
Long story short, real one sentence from me. I will still be watching NXT on Thursdays, because I'll be watching Impact live on Tuesdays. Anyway, moving on. But again, I'm just like you.
We don't get Impact until Monday in the UK, so it doesn't affect me.
But yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, we both don't hate NXT. So seriously, guys, don't hate us for that. But there's other things we like.
Someone had to say it.
We all have just a difference of opinion on what our favorite wrestling company is or whatnot. Moving back to the Bucks, he is right. I love that you're actually reading the book right now, because I read it.
Yes.
I read it. I loved it. Like, I got likes from some posts I made about it by the Bucks. I got retweets from the Bucks. It's a very great book that you can see that how much Papa Buck did do for them as a kid. Not only that, but just the supportive parents, both of them. Think about it. Kids back in the 90s growing up, they wanted to be wrestlers. Not many parents would have been like, oh, sure, let's build you a ring. They'd have been like, son, you better get your head in those books. You know, you ain't gonna be no wrestler.
But no, we'll homeschool you, and yes, you can be professional wrestlers.
Yeah,
they're really cool parents.
Oh yeah, and not just that, but yes. Oh, but not only can you be wrestlers, but we'll build you a ring to help you get better and help you start a federation. So I have said it in the past, before I've ever met Beth, before I even started trying to get people to trying to get more mutuals on Twitter. Years ago, I've said it that I strongly believe that AEW is around as a product of BTE.
Yeah,
and that goes back to the Bucks. So again, like I said, it really is the truth. I really do believe the Bucks are where they're at because of their parents, and the AEW is around because of the Bucks.
Yeah.
So that being said, all I'll say is I've always loved Matt Hardy. Well, that's
Wrong
true.
Matt.
Matt Hardy. Well, it is true of that tag team of the Hardy Boys. I've loved Matt Hardy, but I've always loved Matt Jackson. And this, I love them both. But like I was telling Beth, I'm pretty sure he just gave the microphone to Nick first and said, "Here, just say something. We know you're not the talker. Just say something, and then give it to me, and I'll handle it from there." So Matt, again, a great promo. Not going to talk all day about it, but he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and that was get people hyped for the match. Which, like I said, I think a lot of people hate them, think that the storyline was lame because they just don't like the Bucks, and that's another reason I would tell them to read the book. So, and Jericho. A lot of people don't like the Bucks or Jericho, believe it or not. So if they read the book, I think that their hatred would go down a little bit. But if you don't like them, you're not going to read the book. Anyway, moving on. I'm looking forward to that one. Moving on.
We have Tully and FTR versus Jurassic Express.
We had Tully and FTR versus Jurassic Express, one of Beth's favorite teams. Actually, I think she loves them both. But Tully, not bad. I'll give him that. He was not, holding back either. He was going at it. He was raising his heart rate, probably the highest it's been raised in decades. So he was going after it. I'll give him credit. I thought it was going to be a wreck, but go ahead, Beth. You're going to tell me how bad he did.
No. I will tell, kind of, maybe. I don't know. It was it was very clear it was the first wrestling match he's had in 32 years. Comparatively with other legends with AEW out there wrestling, Sting looked flawless with everything actual wrestling move wise he's done so far. The technique is there for Tully. It just felt a little bit awkward.
Of course it was going to be awkward. But I'm just saying, if we're going to judge Shaq, and I gave him an 11 out of 10 for what he is. I gave him an 11 out of 10 for his performance for what he is. If we're going to judge Shaq that way, I judge Tully that way. And I'm like, okay, I know what he is. I know how old he is. I'm going to judge him for what I thought he was going to do. I didn't think he would be that involved. I thought he might get a tag and then a pinfall, and that was it. I thought he wasn't even going to do any moves. He's a 70-something-year-old man in that ring.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that. But he is extremely talented. It felt like it was a last-minute decision and he didn't get an awful lot of practice in. Everything was there. It just felt a little bit awkward and off. The timing was never quite right. There's a snapshot of him doing the, I want to call it the best Meltzer ever. It's not. It's the other one because that's SCE. But the off the top turnbuckle, and he's in the air, and I mean his technique is there. He just looks awkward doing it. And I don't know if I was expecting too much going into this. I mean, the match was good. It was enjoyable. Again, it was an enjoyable match. It was fun. It worked for what it was. FTR looked great. Jurassic Express looked great. It was a little bit awkward, but Tully did really well. And overall, the match was enjoyable. I don't know. I think it just felt a little off for me.
Okay, yeah. Okay, enough Tully. No more Tully talk. We spent too much time on Tully. And we're also going to spend too much time talking about what happened after the match, because any time we spend on it is too much time for me. So Beth was very happy to see something happen at the end of the match.
I'll buzz through this because I know you're not happy about it, but fucking Sean Spears is back.
I talk about things that you don't like, so go ahead.
No. Sean Spears is back, and there were 4 of them in the ring, and they were stood there. Because the cameraman got involved. That's how FTR got the win, and then the cameraman then jumped in the ring afterwards, and we're like, "Oh, who could it be?" And obviously, it was Sean Spears, because who else is it going to be? And then they were all stood in the ring. So it was FTR, Sean Spears, and Tully in the ring. And then commentary were like, oh, look, there's 4 of them. And then Excalibur just went, oh, shit, there's 4 of them.
So...
And then we cut to ad break. We come back, and there is just this stare down between Arn and Tully. And the 4 Horsemen is happening. It just seems to be happening with Tully in the 4 Horsemen, and that's not what I expected at all.
And that's not okay with Arn Anderson. And I have no doubt in my mind he could do a better job than Tully did in the match, but that's neither here nor there. Now,
give me Arn versus Tully. Give me Arn versus Tully.
You have put my cat to sleep. Thanks a lot. Talking about that segment. I'm sorry, Jericho. We're done talking about him. All right, moving on. But no, Beth is very happy. A lot of people. It's not just Beth. A lot of people.
He's blonde again, and he looks so freaking adorable. I'm not the only person excited about this either, by the way. There were several, and I mean several people on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. Is I know I'm in the minority on this one. So I gave you time. You took your time. And now I think we're good.
It's appreciated.
All right. I think we are good talking about that. But after that, oh, yes, I actually really love this next segment. Can't wait to talk about it because I know we have a difference of opinion. Mr. the big signing of was that this week? Was it this week? It was announced or last week?
It
With Paul
was. Paul White was announced last week.
Okay, so the big signing recently
before Dynamite last week.
The big signing recently by AEW, Paul White came out. He looked good. He looked happy. You could tell he was very happy to be there.
With a no BS t-shirt on.
With a no BS t-shirt. I liked it. I won't buy that shirt just because it's letters, but I liked the shirt. Which a lot of people said it doesn't just mean no more, you know what, but it also means, no more Big Show. And, maybe they're saying maybe it means that he's just going to be himself. And I think that, because it seemed like he was himself when he came out and talked about stuff. But he takes his commentating job very seriously, Tony. And so Tony's eyes lit up. He goes, "What do you mean?" And so he said, "I have the biggest scoop of them all. They are going to sign a Hall of Fame worthy talent that will mean a lot and be a huge asset to the company." Your thoughts?
So it has since been confirmed by Tony Khan that this big new Hall of Fame worthy signee, as discussed on our prediction show, isn't the same person as the number 6 entrant for the ladder match. They've also said, if I'm not mistaken, that it will be a huge asset to the company, not the roster. So it's possible that they will be helping behind the scenes as well as wrestling, or even solely in a behind the scenes role. We don't know yet. Yeah. With that in mind, there are so many options. I've seen so many names thrown around for who this could be. Cena's been thrown around, Mick Foley's been thrown around. There has been questions over whether Christian has a WWE contract at the moment or not. One reporter said he has, one reporter said he hasn't. So It could be Christian, it could not be Christian. And AJ would be a really awesome addition to the roster from a behind the sscenes or a wrestling perspective for the women's roster.
AJ Mendez, people. AJ Mendez, not Styles.
Yes, AJ Mendez, not AJ Styles. I forget. Yeah. I need to clarify that sometimes. But as much as he is outright said is not happening on a Q&A today, or yesterday, I'm still calling it CM Punk, because one day it will happen. One day CM Punk will say yes to AEW. It's pretty much guaranteed. It's just a bit matter of when. And if I keep saying CM Punk for the mystery debut, at one point I will be right and everyone will be amazed.
And people have been called CM Punk return have become a meme across the wrestling world for years.
CM Punk to AEW confirmed.
It won't just be Beth saying that. It'll be all these people who've been wrong 35 million times about him coming back. The one time they're right, they'll say, "Look, I was right. I told you so."
I've only said this for every pay-per-view prediction for the last 6 years, guys, but I told you I'd be right one day. But yeah, I'm calling it a CM Punk. I highly doubt it. I think it's more likely to be Cena, and that's saying something. CM Punk is my call, because always will be.
So that being said, you made a good point. I think it's more going to be someone behind the scenes, that's going to be an asset. Now, just like we shouldn't take reports seriously because everyone's got a different report. The same thing, we shouldn't take everything we hear literally, because as you know, people online are going crazy because he said the word evolution, so it must mean Batista.
You know what? That's someone I hadn't even considered, and I would be well happy with Batista. It hadn't even crossed my mind.
But he misspoke, and that's why I'm telling people, I keep getting backlash, like people think I can't read or understand English. He said Hall of Fame worthy. That doesn't mean that this person's not already in the Hall of Fame either. He could have misspoke there. You know what I mean? Hall of Fame worthy talent. Okay.
Other than Tony Khan has confirmed it on Unrestricted today as a Hall of Fame worthy talent.
but that could mean they're already in the Hall of Fame. You just don't know. I mean, you can't take everything literally is what I'm saying. So that being said, I believe it's going to be someone behind the scenes. First off, sorry, let me go back to Punk. I wanted to say this. You made a very good point about Punk. That's what I wanted to say. And that is, I agree with you. Someday he will, because all the things that made him lose his passion for wrestling, all the things he said he wanted, AEW has been offering that to talent since they began.
He said he will. They just need to offer him enough money and give it
Right.
another couple of years, and they'll have enough money to offer him.
Right.
They don't. Even at this point, they don't have enough splash to cash on another Jericho level contract.
Right. So yeah, it'll happen eventually. But that being said, I believe it's going to be. I was thinking all day before this podcast because I knew that you were going to ask for our predictions on this one. So I had so many names like you going through my head. I've come up with my prediction is going to be Hall of Fame worthy talent commentator Mauro Ranallo. I really would like to see that. I really think that fans will, that people like you're going to set yourself up for disappointment by wanting Punk or Cena. But I believe, but no, I believe that they think that is a big enough name, and us fans, we are going to appreciate that name. So sure, there's going to be people disappointed. It's not a big wrestler, but there's also going to be people disappointed no matter who it is. So I do believe that Mauro Ranallo would get a huge positive reaction from the fans, and we will like it, because I've seen some people on my tweet today. I posted a graphic with him in front of AEW's logo. A lot of people, they popped big for that. So I mean, I do believe that will make us happy. I would be fine with that.
Possibly announced a 5th show, maybe. It wasn't 100% clear in the media call from what I've heard, but Cody said that the new TNT show does have a name, and we'll be finding out at some point soon, and that he's really excited to share it with us. And they confirmed another show, but it's not clear whether it's another AEW/TNT show or whether it's another Turner Media show like Go Big Show that AEW roster members are going to be involved in. So either way, we've got another TNT show coming this year. So it would make sense to expand the commentating roster. Right. And it's also been announced that Chris Jericho will be moving to a full-time commentary seat on one of the shows. So
people would love that. People are going to love that. So that'd be great. But there it is. There's our predictions for who the big Hall of Fame worthy talent is. I believe it's not going to be a wrestler. It could be. If it is a wrestler, it's not going to be a full-time guy. I believe it could be someone who is a big name, ex-WWE, like you said, Cena, not a full-time wrestler, but someone like that.
Cena backstage would be really cool, because he's, as much as he got very polarizing views in WWE, I mean, I remember the "Let's Go Cena sucks" chants being just as loud as each other. But he's got a heck of a lot of wisdom to impart on a younger generation of wrestlers.
Right.
Because he's basically done everything you shouldn't do when it comes to gimmicks. And as much as he is a polarizing figure, he is well loved by millions. Yeah. And is possibly one of the most not over guys out there.
Yeah. So that's it. We've talked 10, 12 minutes about speculation. It could be none of those guys. So we just could have just wasted all your time. But we will talk in depth on who it is next week, and I can't wait until Sunday to watch that. Which for Beth, it's going to be Sunday, Monday. Well, it'll be Monday.
It doesn't start till 1 o'clock Monday morning.
So after that, the match people were looking forward to was the finals in the women's eliminator tournament. It was Ryo Mizunami versus Nyla Rose. I thought it was great. I thought Rio. Sorry, I know you usually go first.
Go for it. No, go for it. This is your little baby. Go for it.
I was wrong. When last week when I texted you, I was thinking she was someone else. I guess. I honestly, I misspoke when I messaged you last week and I said Ryo Mizunami winning the Japanese side excites nobody. I thought she was someone else. I didn't, because I didn't have time to watch that show. I didn't have time to watch the semifinals, so I thought she was someone else. No, So if that's Rio, who obviously it is, no, I am a fan of her. I do think she has charisma. I do think she's exciting to watch. She's a big brawler, and she actually is way more athletic than you'd probably people would give her credit for. So, but I picked her going into this because, like I said, the 14-day quarantine to go back to Japan. I don't think that she was going to jump on the flight just to have one Dynamite match. So I knew that there was no way that was going to happen. So that she had to win versus Nyla, and maybe beyond. Maybe not just getting the pay-per-view match, but maybe beyond. So I picked Rio. It was a great match. Two bigger ladies doing a very good job. And Rio got the surprise win. Beth.
I think you've pretty much said it all. It was match of the night.
Yeah, and I liked her outfit, I guess, Rio's outfit. She looked completely different than what she was wearing in the semifinals, but I liked her colors. I liked her outfit. I liked her, like I said, I liked her charisma.
But yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. Both women absolutely tore it up. And yeah, that was a well-fought fight on both sides, and Rio walked away with the win, and it was well-deserved.
And it'll be a great match because Shida can, as you saw at the end, I loved it. As a New Japan fan, where they do that all the time, they do the stiff elbows all the time in New Japan. They even slap each other and punch each other for real over there. But Shida showed that she can take it just as much as she can dish it out. So Shida is tougher than you think, and I think it's going to be a banger of a match. All right, after that, go ahead. Do you have something?
I was just going to say, next we got Sting and Ricky Starks kind of facing off in the ring.
Pretty Ricky looked great.
Yes, he did look absolutely fantastic and apologized to Sting for being wrong. Sting does still have it in the ring. He is still the Stinger we all remember and love, but he's still a bit lame, and they're still going to kick their ass at Revolution, apparently.
Typical heel fashion.
And then there was a big brawl.
Yeah, typical heel fashion. I'm sorry, but you suck, and I'm better than you. And then he actually is the one who got beat down. So, yeah.
It was a really nice little segment.
Yep, and they've actually, like I said, I've enjoyed all the Sting Darby segments, but
they've rescued this the last couple of weeks. It was dragging out too long, but I think this week and last week especially, I think they've definitely pulled this back right on time. I think any longer and they would have just burnt this out. But yeah, this was...
So we won't burn you out talking about that. Big match on Sunday. You can watch our Revolution predictions to see what we picked. Because I can tell you that me and Beth, out of 9 matches, we picked different ones.
We only agree on one match, and number 6, who the number 6 entrant might be.
Yeah,
so correct. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who wins this one.
Speaking of the number 6 entrant, let's go right into who was getting the number 5 entrant. The next match was Max Caster. I was wearing my Acclaim shirt today. I actually held off on wearing it all freaking week because I was going to wear it on this podcast, but then I realized that we should probably do the whole Kenny
Mox is going to win. I'm sorry.
So I actually wore the Max Caster shirt to the gym today, but I'm a big fan of Max Caster, as you all know. I loved 10 coming out with -1. I loved it. How was the match?
I thoroughly enjoyed it until Evans came out. It was a very good match. They were completely tearing it up. They both looked absolutely fantastic. And then Jack Evans came out and kind of ruined it all, courtesy of Matt Hardy. As probably I certainly expected Matt Hardy to try and do something after the Dark Order, after the threats he gave Dark Order last week. This wasn't going to play out without shenanigans. But yeah, until Jack Evans got involved, it was a bloody good match. And they absolutely tore it up. Yeah,
and Max Caster's going to have to, because I just read, literally, while you were just talking there, the injury report on Bowens. And Bowens is out not too long, actually. He's only out for about a month. So that's good news. But people were wondering where Bowens was. There you go. I just had your update right there. But it was a good match. $4,200 is a large sum of money. I am not a big wrestler, but I would do my best if you gave me $4,200 to hit somebody with it.
I think Matt Hardy gives me like just over $4,000, and I will do pretty much anything he asks me to at that point. You want me to hit Preston Vance over the head with a chair or something? Sure, for $4,000. Why not?
Good match. Max Caster got in there as the fifth entrant. To see who we think is going to be the 6th entrant, please watch our prediction show.
It will be linked in the bio below somewhere down there.
Yeah. And last thing I will say is, stop it. Sorry. Stop it. Scratching my chair behind me. And you saw that Max Caster said that, the commentary team said that Matt basically eliminated the Dark Order from this ladder match. So they are out, and we are out of time talking about that match. We had, after the break, was the main event, Beth's favorite main event of all time.
I wish it was my favorite main event of all time. Again, this was a thoroughly good, enjoyable match. They all looked fantastic. It was a brilliant tag match. I love tag team wrestling. I love Matt Hardy. No, I don't. I don't love Matt Hardy. I do love Matt Hardy. I don't like Big Money Matt, but Matt and Mark Quinn are a great tag team. Matt and both of Private Party work well as tag teams. I just don't like the gimmick. And Silver and Paige are fantastic. But it didn't feel like a main event. And I hate that, because I love the fact that it was Paige and Silver in the main event and it should have been amazing. But it was a very last minute change to the card, and there just wasn't that much hype around the match, and it just fell a bit flat. It was a fantastic match as far as wrestling goes. Storyline wise, it was great. For main event, it just didn't quite work though. And I hate that, because I wanted it to work so well.
First off, do not edit out that the words came out of your mouth that you love Matt Hardy. Don't edit that out. I want the world to see it, that it was a Freudian slip, people. It's really what's going on in her mind.
I was reading my notes as I was talking. It's a bad idea.
But I was glad that Quinn got, even though, like I said, he showcased himself before on his own against Cody. It was good that immediately after Cassidy got a shot, he got to be the partner of Big Money Matt.
I like the fact they're jumping between the two of them and giving them equal shots at this.
Yeah, and like she said, everyone loves Silver. So Silver is probably everyone's favorite member of the Dark Order, with Paige, who is soon to be everyone's favorite of the Dark Order in the future. If we can truly speak it into existence, it will happen. But yeah, not much to say about that. It was not. It was like she said, a lackluster main event. I believe that this is what Tony Khan tweeted about. That a good friend told him to make a change, and this was the change to change the match. I don't understand. Like, okay, but why?
Unless part of Big Money Matt's gimmick is he's now being paid off by unless TK is now being paid off by Matt Hardy.
Interesting. We'll see what happens.
Which is an interesting theory. I really hope I'm wrong on, because I don't like that idea. But that's because I don't like literally anything about this gimmick. But I have been more than vocal on that. Matt is brilliant at everything he does, and he's doing this too well.
See, look, guys, we do AEW fans do. It's not all, fields and meadows and roses.
There are things we don't like about the show, guys.
Things we don't like. So me and Beth are different on the things that we don't like. So every fan's different. Every fan may not like what me or Beth like as well. We're all different. So there are people out there that are probably going to find the positives in everything, and we are that way. We try to find the positives in everything, but even then, sometimes there's some stuff we don't like.
I do try.
So we do exist. So speaking of the lackluster main event, I'm interested to see how the show grades are going to be.
That was, I will mention, that was followed by an all-out brawl by literally everyone who is set to appear in Revolution came out for some reason or another. Which it was a fun way to end the show. I get that was kind of main event for the show, not the match itself. I don't know, it just felt a bit weird.
Yep. So again, last week we gave a high grade. Well, decent high. I think it was 2 weeks ago was the one that we really loved, right? Yeah. So show grades, I'll go first. I'm going to put that as a solid 7 because a 7 is not great. It's not even very good. It's just good. So I think the Cody match actually was probably one of the things that even brought it up to a 7. Had that been what people thought it was going to be, this show might have been a 6 from me. Beth?
I want to give it a not quite so solid 7. If
So
I wasn't in
underwhelming.
such a good mood, it would probably be a 6.
That's fair. Based on your
From
thoughts
a
of
from a
the go home.
wrestling perspective, the show was really good. It just didn't feel like a go home show. And
Yeah.
that was what it was meant to be. So as much as it's worked as a go home show, especially with the Paul White saying who's the signee gonna be, it's definitely got the hype up about the show. I can't
Yeah.
complain about that, but it didn't feel like a go home show. And as much as Cody said that they were going to be looking at changing how go home shows are done, can you really call it a go home show if neither of the main events from the pay-per-view are actually on the show? It was just weird. It was a great night of wrestling, but it wasn't a fantastic go home show. AEW kind of missed it with this one. So yeah, a not quite so solid 7.
Yeah, and Beth put a 10-tweet manifesto together on her page at Enigma
Yeah.
Beth, and I agreed with most of it as it pertains to special shows and stuff like that. The only thing that I told her that I thought was good, I actually thought his announcement was good, only because I have friends, and I thought it was needed because I have friends who reach out to me who it's kind of sad. I hardly have any friends anymore that talk wrestling. They all stopped watching it a few years ago before AEW started because they got so sick of the WWE that they stopped watching altogether. So now I have no one to really talk to. But they reached back out to me and said, hey, by the way, I hear AEW is doing well. I haven't watched anything, but I think I'm going to buy Revolution, man. I'm going to give it a shot. Why? What made you change? Oh, they're supposed to be signing someone huge.
I completely understand why they did it. And having seen the reaction, especially today, there's been a lot of hype about this today.
Mm-hmm.
And bearing in mind, Dynamite was like 2-3 days ago. And
Yeah.
It's taken a couple of days for the hype to really build. So it has done what they wanted it to do and got the hype building around Revolution.
Right.
Because up until now, it's been a fairly lackluster build. You've got it's shaping up to be an amazing pay-per-view. Card's brilliant, but the build hasn't been fantastic. So I get why they did it. Part of me still kind of wishes we knew there was going to be some kind of debut or something. I think it would have been nice for us to get that number 6 ladder match entrant, assume it's them, and then get the huge debut at the end as a massive swerve. I think that would have been really good. But seeing the hype around it today, I do kind of get why they did it. But it's just not how I would have booked things.
The Go Home show should increase buys. They should do something on that show to increase buys. Anyone that's on the fence. And to me, the only thing from this show that might have increased buys, pay-per-view buys, was that. Because I had two people. It
has worked.
Yeah, I had 2 people reach out to me that don't watch wrestling anymore that said, and they don't know each other. That's the cool thing. These people don't know each other. These 2 friends that I have don't know each other, but they both stopped watching wrestling years ago. This is going to be their first pay-per-view that they're buying, both based on that announcement. So it's insane. But that's what really happened. It is now time for my favorite segment of the week, Wrestler of the Week. Whose turn is it?
I've kind of lost track. I think it's your turn. I'm not sure.
Okay. So I will go first. And in typical Reyno fashion, I left a very, very subtle hint, as always, just like I always do, on the show. Some very boring stuff going on behind me. It's fishing. There's a lot of fishing going on.
I'm trying to figure out how fishing even remotely. No, yeah, I've got no idea.
That's the point. I want these videos to go on behind me to confuse people. I want it to be something they look forward to finding the hint. Well, in fishing, you do a lot of. I'm going to rewind it to the very beginning of the video. In fishing, there's an
casting. It's casting. It is your Wrestler of the Week, Max Caster, by any chance?
If you listen to Beth, I can't find it, but yeah, it's casting, and it's Max Caster. She got it. She put it together.
That was so vague and obscure. It makes my brain hurt.
That's the point of it all. So the very beginning of the video, he's casting. There he is. He's going from place to place, and he's casting, just like my Wrestler of the Week, Max Caster, and that is because a tag team wrestler in his first singles match on Dynamite, that I believe, got into the ladder match when 10 came out with -1, and just I'm pretty sure most people saw that as saw that he was going to win. So I will give Max Caster Wrestler of the Week because of the upset and because I am a big Acclaimed stan. Your turn.
I'm going to go for 10 because if it wasn't for Jack Evans getting involved, 10 would have won the match.
That's okay, but did he? He did not. That would be Caster.
But he only didn't win because Jack Evans got involved. You reeling him in.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm for exactly the same reason you chose Max Caster. I will be choosing Preston Vance because the guy's amazing. Right?
Oh, no disagreeing there. I do really like him. So interesting. Both in the same match. That's the first time that's happened too. We've picked losers several times before as well. We've picked losers of matches several times. Yeah. But we've never picked we've never picked a winner and a loser from the same match. So that's the first time. So there you go. That's our show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You look like you have something else to say or no?
No, that's everything, I think.
All right. Check out in the link. She said it like 3-4 times. Check out in the link in the description of our AEW I'm going to speak like Paul White. Revolution predictions. People love predictions, and this is actually a good show. I listened to it right before we filmed this. So, everyone, have a good evening. We'll see you next week.